Okay, so check this out. We are taking scrap plywood in this video, boring some holes in there to make portable plates to move your small portable machinery on and off your MFT table, utilizing the PowerLoc system so it's flush and you don't have any clamps in the way.
All right, Sedge, what's going on here?
Okay, so mounting the bench grinder or the strap sander to the plate doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to get it close to perfect.
Very close.
So come in here, Chris. What we did is we took this piece of plywood and we laid out a center line this way, laid one out here. And then I took the bench grinder here and brought it back here, and this is where the back is. Okay, so I'm going to take it like this and do a quick lineup. And that looks about right to me. I'm guessing center line because that's where the cord is back here on the center of it. So that's our first gauge. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So if, Chris, you can get in here and shoot this. We have this hole right here, see it? And that's where we're gonna mount it with some hardware to this. It doesn't have to be exactly in the center, but I want it up against that back. And what I'm gonna do is, if this is really tough to do layout, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a pencil and I sharpened it, but I also cut it. So I can actually get in here and I can trace at a 90 degrees exactly where I want that hole in the board. So like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just wanted to get it close. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a line out on here so it's at a 90 degrees, but that's what I ended up with right there.
All right, Sedge, so what drill bit are we going to use?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a caliper here, and we're going to measure that inside diameter of that bore, and it's about 10.5.
Okay.
So what we'll do is hear me out, we'll bore it at 10 millimeter.
Oh.
Okay. But then what we're going to do is we're going to use some hardware here. And this is basically 6.1. But what we want to do is this is going to be our bottom. This is our top. Okay, so on the bottom where we did our layout, we're going to take a Forstner bit first because we don't want this recessed. So if this is basically 6, this here across the points, wow, is also 12.5. So we'll bore out, we'll get a 13 millimeter Forstner bit and slightly recess it. And we won't have to go very deep, probably about 5 millimeter deep.
All right.
Okay, so we got that bit in here, a Forstner bit, and we have that center point right here, which I lined up with there, okay, that crosshair that we made. And I get close to where I need to be. That's about the head of the thickness of this. So I'm going to bring it down in depth to the top of this. Okay. That'll give us the clearance. Okay. So I'll start like this. Perfect. Then we'll do the next one.
All right.
Good. Okay, so the reason we did that first is, like I said, on that Forstner, you have the center point. Okay, it would be difficult because if we bored that out with those bits, right, the 12 millimeter bit, what would happen was then we have to what? Try to center that point in there to do the recess. So the nice thing about that center point on that Forstner bit is now we can drill right there with our 12 millimeter brad point, and we already have the starting hole.
Perfect.
So I got a bit in here. I put a backing board because this will be our top. I know this is just for a fixture inside the shop, but I try to get it as clean as possible. I'm going to take it like this. I'll find center line because I got that brad point, and away we go.
So Sedge, why would we use the drill press instead of the handheld drill in this case?
Okay, have you ever seen any of the old videos of you drilling with a handheld drill? Okay. Yes, you drill perfectly at 90 if your drill press is set up correctly.
Okay.
But the other thing is you have leverage. If you look in those old videos, I'm always correcting you for the 90, but you really have to push. Here you have maximum leverage. Okay, so you drill it perfectly 90, and it's a lot easier. Every shop should have a drill press. So, nice clean hole here to mount the bench grinder. Now we got to start talking about how we're going to lock this down to the table with the bench grinder on it. And in the past, I would take a clamp like this and lock it down. But these would get in the way as I'm grinding or buffing something. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up 20 millimeter holes and use these new PowerLocs, which will slip right in the holes. There's a slight chamfer on there, and just using a 5 millimeter hex, we can lock this down, and it's fully recessed, no clamps in the way. You shall see.
All right, so how are we going to get these 20 millimeter holes to line up with these 20 millimeter holes?
We could do it with a little math.
I'm good.
No? Okay, so this is the beauty of the MFT top. Okay. If people don't know this already, I shall enlighten them. These is based off of the 32 millimeter system. On center, each one of these is 96 millimeters on center. So if I just lay out a grid, look, they're all 32 millimeters. Follow? Mm-hmm. And we can do a center line. But I like to do things really simple. Okay, I like simple. That's why I like center lines. This is an old MFT top. It's all cut up on the bottom. You could actually take this, put it on your MFT and drill it from the bottom. But I need to get some starting holes, okay? Before we bring it to the drill press. So I'm gonna look at this, and I got my center line here. And if I put it right in the corner here, the holes don't line up. Okay. So if I take a center line, and I bring it here, and I'm gonna line it on the front edge here, there's a center line in here I'm going to eyeball and bring it perfectly even. I'm going to have you come over here and use that clamp right here. Yep, just like this. Beautiful. And come over here and grab this one. Okay. And this is just to take our bit and get it where we need to have it.
Sounds good.
Then we'll take it to the drill press. So we'll get a starting hole from this.
All right.
So next, I chucked up this bit. Mm-hmm. It's basically a brad point bit, but you also have these spur points. This is a router bit, but we're going to use it as a drill bit. Oh. And what will happen is because of these points, it'll break the paper, and we'll get a center point. So I'm going to take it in. Always when you do this and you're using a bushing like this, always start it in the material. And see, we have that center line. Okay. And then we're going to do this one. And that just gets it started, so now we're ready for the drill press.
Awesome.
And this is our top.
Yep.
So we broke this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and we've actually cut the veneer, and we're starting to go into the plywood. Mm-hmm. What I did over here is, once again, we'll use a backing board. We'll drill from the top, but I really don't care about the bottom because... And this is just a piece for the shop. Mm-hmm. So this will prevent a lot of tear out.
Important.
So another tip when using a drill press is when you're chucking up a bit, a lot of people will just take the chuck key and go like that to tighten it. It's always good to go to all three holes to make sure that's perfectly centered and you got it chucked right. So let's get drilling on this. All right. Remember, it's all about leverage. Okay, Big D. Let's see how well we drilled. I'm going to have you put that in. We'll put it over one of the 20 millimeter holes. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that fit. Let's check this one out. Just make sure it's set up correctly, like that, so it falls. Wow, look at that. Okay, now, I want you to do this. Okay. I want you to feel here. Okay. Okay, they're protruding ever so slightly.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so we're gonna pull it out, and what we'll do is we'll pop these out, and what we'll do is we'll use the reamer that has this little blade here that has 3 sharp areas. This is the handheld one. You can get it. It's a UJK reamer. Mm-hmm. And you can use this, and you'll see how we did all the holes on the MFT. So we'll do this right here. We only have to do it from the top, and we'll do that really quick. And then they'll sit flush. See that?
Oh, cool.
And we'll do this one. And now you'll see, and I'll just do this from the top, where when we put these in, see how it fits flush now?
Oh, nice.
The beauty of these, and you'll see momentarily, is when we take a 5mm screw from the top, at the very end, this will come out just like this and lock from underneath.
Oh.
And we'll try to get Chris to get some footage of that.
Cool.
And make sure you put 2 coats of wax on that. Okay, so let's mount now the bench grinder to the plate.
Okay.
And we'll use, well, in the bottom we use we bored out that with that Forstner bit. We gave it a little leeway, so we have a washer and the hex under there and the bolt. We'll go like here, we'll put a washer, we'll put a lock washer,
okay,
and we'll put the nut, we'll spin it up and we'll tighten them up.
Sounds good.
Oh, Big D, I thought you wanted to edge band this. No.
I got some nice walnut edge banding ready to go.
Cool. So Big D, it doesn't matter what orientation. This orientation, anywhere I want to put this. We just take the PowerLocs, we drop them in. Okay, just like this. Just like this. Okay, and the nice thing is now I can take this little 5mm, and when it's fully tightened, that locks underneath, so there's no movement whatsoever. It's just a really slick design. You got this, Chris? And look how easy that is. We are locked and loaded, and we don't have any clamps in the way, and it's just a super simple system, and you can make plates for all your different small pieces of machinery to lock right to your MFT.
That's awesome.
So Big D, as you can see, with just a few simple tools and these PowerLocs, that was some scrap plywood. In the UJK reamer, you can make basically clamp-free plates that are flush for all your small bench top machinery.
It's pretty cool.
And you can get wicked organized with this. So as we always say,
be positive.
Stay sharp. Wicked sharp.